Hey everyone, MP here, and I'm just coming to you with a video that is going to be detailing my Path of Radiance, or Fire Emblem Path of Radiance draft, which will be featuring my own commentary. I tried doing it live, and I got way too frustrated, especially after you have to retry the recordings and all that, and so I just didn't feel like restarting, because the videos would have gotten far too long at that point. But I'll just be narrating my chapters as I do them. Once they get a little bit easier early on when my party's at full strength, that'll be a little bit easier. But outside of that, I have to deal with this because it's way too complex and frustrating to keep on redoing the chapters. But for those of you who don't know, a draft, at least in Fire Emblem terms, it's a lot like a professional sports draft, really. Except you know all the units that are available every time. You merely get a group of friends together, lay out the units, and there's a lot of rules, and it's basically an efficiency run, but with an unsure amount of units. Like, you don't know, like, everyone gets the same amount generally, depending on the game, but you take turns drafting units to use, and you can only use those units, especially for combat. There are some units that are given to everyone for free, generally the main lord of the game. Sometimes the Jagan character is also included, but not in this. Only for undrafted purposes until a certain point. So, in this one, it's until chapter 8, I believe. But essentially, so that's how it goes. Is you go picking, you get the group of friends together, you pick the units, and then those are the only units you are allowed to use in combat until a certain point in the game, or all that. But I will post the link to the rules and everything if you're interested in doing something like this with your friends who have the game. I know they did this a lot on big communities like Serene's Forest or Serena's Forest, however you want to say it. But I'm doing this with a couple of my friends on the Facebook Fire Emblem group, and it's a pretty big group of people, actually, so I've enjoyed the community, and it's just great. But for this chapter, I'll also be detailing the units that I have chosen and the other teams by the other participants. But as you can see, Ike is free to everyone because he's practically, it's pretty much impossible to beat the game without using him. That and the other chapters would just be way too hard. But I've chosen Oscar as I picked first, and the draft order reverses every round. So the draft goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, etc. And then the first person picks twice every subsequent round, which is kind of cool. But the first pick is incredibly crucial, and I had to pick. Usually the first unit to go is either Oscar or Boyd, from what I've seen, and then the two flyers, Jill and Marsha, are usually soon to follow afterwards. I picked Oscar. His mobility is just way too helpful early on, and as you can see, he's capable of doubling all the axe users and still fairly accurate. He's helping me to get to the houses on time, especially with Kanto. That's incredibly useful. The Seraph Robe I use on Ike later on. I don't know if I needed to, but it definitely it did help me a little bit. I think I could have probably gotten along just by luck in restarting, but I just figured no one else at this point in the game would get more use out of it than Ike due to his somewhat shoddy avoid at this point. I mean, he's getting hit by axe users, let's be real. It only takes a few more points of speed, possibly some luck to mitigate that. But chapter 4 is definitely used because Oscar is gone for that chapter, and it's basically me and my meat shields, which are Shinnon, Gatry, and Titania, pretty much tanking everyone. But it's gonna be tough. I haven't recorded that point as of yet. I've tried before, but then my Ike was a little bit too screwed statistically to merit continuing on. But I've improved my turn counts since the first run, and I've gotten a little bit more luck in each run as well. So you can see here, Oscar is going to be getting the Seraph Robe, and then thankfully to Kanto he can get out of there and possibly detract some units from Ike, because all at this point I'm trying to do is just get it so I can attack the boss next round. I don't care if the other units around him die, but I just don't want Ike to be swarmed and then have no way of utilizing his low movement at this point to get to the boss, because I want to defeat the boss as soon as possible. And thinking about it now, I probably could have used Oscar to weaken the boss, since I think he can double him. I'm not sure, but thankfully I've gotten some strength and a little bit of speed in my 3 level ups so far. That's basically my main concern at this point, is I want my Ike to have as much strength and as much speed as possible, because he has a little bit of trouble doubling early on. And those things that he does double generally aren't 2 HK'd, which sucks. Unless he uses the steel sword, and doubling with the steel sword is amazing. And to anyone I recommend doing this, get the steel sword if you don't want your turn count to be that much lower, because Ike will be doubling, hopefully, if you got 2 points of speed and a little bit of strength. Either one works, because he doesn't have enough strength to wield it yet without speed loss. But get the steel sword. I don't care if you have to take a penalty to do it, but get the steel sword and then give it to him sometime within chapter 2. It'll be incredibly helpful, and it's practically necessary to get some early kills. Otherwise, your turn count will be increased immensely. And yeah, my early game is a little bit tough, just because I mostly have Oscar, since I had to wait so long to get my second pick, and with it I got Rhys out of it, which wasn't that great of a pick, because Gatry would have been so much more useful, especially for chapter 4. But hopefully it'll turn out okay. I think my mid game will be way better. Units like Kieran and Stefan coming along, as well as Tanith in chapter 18, right after Ike promotes, will be just a boon to me, really. So I would say the other teams got their own good fair share of picks too. I did miss out on all the early flyers. I don't have either Jill or Marsha. The only flyer I have is Tanith, which isn't too bad, because Tanith is still a good flyer. Her bases are pretty decent. And if anything, I have probably a fair chunk of bonus experience. As well as Volk and Kieran coming around chapter 10, my offense isn't too worrisome right now, because Ike at that point will be incredibly powerful. And hopefully Oscar doesn't get screwed in his level ups either. But at this point, the chapter's over. I just did this. I wanted to see if Oscar could kill over these 2 units, just for some extra experience. I'm not lowering my turn count or anything. I mean, I could have used like the Seraph robe on this map, but there was no point. I can just do it sometime when I have a free movement turn or non-attacking turn. But hopefully this will be fun to watch. I've gotten pretty frustrated so far with restarting. I restarted on chapter 7, but in the meantime, I will probably just catch you guys later. If you have any more questions about it, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer. And yeah, so I just waited a long time to the end of the recording here, but I'll just catch you all later. Bye.